we're always grateful, speaking of Tennessee, to talk to the sitting senator from Tennessee, who also would like to be the next governor of Tennessee. We're pretty confident she will be, by the way. Marsha Blackburn is her name on this election day, a busy day. Senator, good to have you back. Good morning, ma'am.
It is good to be with you always, yes.
Could I get your reaction this morning to the breaking news that Dick Cheney has died at age 84? I was looking back to your election to Congress. You've been serving in Congress since the Bush administration, and I have been reflecting this morning personally on my own politics and how things have evolved and changed from the Bush era to the Trump era over these last 20 years or so.
Well, indeed they have. And Dick Cheney, one of the things that always was so interesting to me about Dick Cheney was the breadth of his experience. When he had served as a White House aide, then he was chief of staff, and just the various positions that he held, serving in Congress, and his foreign policy experience. And then, of course, as vice president, he truly desired to be in service to his country.
Toward the end, and I'm not really here to speak ill of him so much as I am just kind of reflecting on the party writ large. He endorsed Kamala Harris, as you well know, last year. The Cheney family famously got crossways with the Trump administration. What do you see as the demarcation point, the fulcrum, the schism, the split? What's happened in the Republican Party from Bush, Cheney to Trump today, in your view?
Yeah, Chris, I think that's one of the things so many people look at. And there seemed to be always that push of the elite in the party that wanted to work with the bureaucracies in D.C. And then there are others of us who feel like power and authority had been taken from local and state governments and shifted to D.C. And federalism requires us to send that power and authority back to the people, to those local and state governments. And that is one of the things I truly appreciate about President Donald Trump, is every single day he is sending power and authority for things that never should have been in D.C., like education policy, like health care policy, handling benefits, dealing with permitting and regulations. The list goes on. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons that I'm running for governor, is because President Donald Trump is indeed draining the swamp and sending things back to our state and local governments.
Today is day 35. I believe tomorrow would be the 36th day of the government shutdown, which marks a historic length of time for a government shutdown. We know you guys have voted at least 13 times. Senator Thune seems to have indicated that maybe there will be a change of heart and some Democrats will come on board to reopen the government. Do you think this is purely done for Election Day today, and by week's end we'll reopen?
I do believe we'll get open this week. Indeed, there are some Democrats who have indicated they are ready to put an end to the Schumer shutdown. And quite honestly, some of these Democrats who are more to the moderate side of the Democrat Party, which has now taken a full, hard left turn, if you will, they are ready to get the government back open. Now, the thing that is so interesting to me about all of this is the Democrats have said, well, we want to focus on health care, and we want to make certain that we continue these enhanced subsidies. And bear in mind, Obamacare subsidies do not go away. What is the point of discussion is these Biden-era COVID credit bonus payments, bonus subsidies that were made to individuals. And we're saying, no, that needs to come to an end because COVID is over. That would make sense to most people. And indeed to us, that makes sense. But to the Democrats, who have always said that Obamacare is a step on the path to a government-run, socialist-style healthcare program where the government controls your health insurance. It controls the doctor you see, the hospital you go to, the care that you can get. And the American people will tell you they don't want that. So as those notices are going out, they're looking at the cost of health care and saying, hey, this is too expensive to afford. Republicans are saying, let's deal with the root cause. Democrats are saying, let's use this as another solid step to government-controlled, government-run health care.
Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn joins us. I saw you last Wednesday with Senator Grassley, Senator Cruz, Senator Schmidt, among others. Stunning. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised, but this Arctic frost operation targeting what is believed to be well over 400 different Republicans in Congress and or organizations affiliated with Republicans, conservative causes, Donald Trump. The scope of this thing, the surveillance that was going on, this is McCarthy-era stuff, Senator. What's to come of it, in your view, or what should come of it?
Well, one of the things that we have already done is to send a request to Pam Bondi, our AG, to begin an investigation of Jack Smith through the Department of Professional Conduct at DOJ. Getting that started is important. Secondly, the more we learn from the whistleblowers, and we know that Judge Boasberg used his position as a district judge to sign off on the subpoena for all of my phone records from Verizon. Verizon complied. They rolled over and turned over all these records. AT&T did not. And
were you notified of that, Senator? Could I interrupt you and ask, did Verizon notify you that they turned over your records?
They did not, which is in itself a violation of federal law. But Judge Boasberg not only did the subpoena, Chris, he laid a non-disclosure order on top of the subpoena that prohibited Verizon from telling us about this. And he indicated the reason for the non-disclosure order was that I may tamper with evidence, I may destroy evidence, I may intimidate witnesses, I might be a flight risk, all of this. And indeed, every bit of the subpoena and the non-disclosure order combined is a violation of First and Fourth Amendment rights. It's a violation of the separation of powers. It's a violation of the speech and debate clause. And it's also a violation of the Stored Communications Act. So in total, it appears that Judge Boasberg did 197 subpoenas on 430 individuals and organizations. And it was all Republicans who supported President Trump. And in the case of the senators, we all supported President Trump, and we all had valid questions about the outcome of the 2020 election.
I assume there is nothing more chilling to you than this story as a senator. I don't know, as a member of Congress, if it gets more chilling than an administration and a judge targeting your private communications.
Well, and when I got the list from Verizon yesterday, they turned it over. Not only did they pull everything that had to do with the transmission of calls and receipt of calls and who made or received a call to or from me, but also the other person on my account that had a phone on my account. So you look at the invasive nature of this. This is so much bigger than Watergate. It's deeper than Watergate. It is wider than Watergate. I have told Chairman Grassley, we need to call Judge Boasberg in now. I have said to the House, you need to begin impeachment proceedings on Judge Boasberg. And we also need to call the CEOs of Verizon and AT&T before us and have them answer the question why they responded as they did. AT&T challenging the subpoena and moving to quash the subpoena, and Verizon just rolling over and handing out all this information.
Stunning. It's stunning, and I know you'll continue to push for it. I know Senator Schmidt and Cruz and others will continue to push for it. I also know your time is tight. I'd love to have you back to talk AI. I know that's a deep concern of yours, too, and I've been talking about it. So please come back and see us, but I really am grateful for your time this morning, Senator.
Glad to join you, and yes, indeed, leading this effort on AI to get the right guardrails in place. You know, there are three things, Chris, and we'll talk about this in detail in the future.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.